Welcome back to Laughing in the Dark, the podcast where I hang out in haunted places with comedians. I'm your host, Sarah Jones. For this episode, I got to hang out with Los Angeles comic Justin Hoff. Justin was named funniest comedian on the East Coast by Mohegan Sun Casino. He was a finalist in the Boston Comedy Festival and Last Comic Standing competition. He currently lives in Los Angeles and features for Brian Callen. You can find Justin on Instagram at @TheJustinHoff. That's at @TheJustinHoff. Justin and I visited Elizabeth Lake in Southern California. This was an especially fun episode for me because it's our very first creature feature on Laughing in the Dark. Elizabeth Lake, you see, is said to be home to an otherworldly creature that I can't wait to introduce you to. If you'd like, be sure to check out our Instagram for pictures that go along with this episode. You can find us at Lit Dark Podcast. That's at LITDARK Podcast. Here's the episode. I hope you have as much fun as we did.
All right, about to get abducted on this podcast. Do you want to plug it real quick?
Laughing in the Dark, Lit Dark Podcast.
I'll let you know when it's coming out.
Oh, I guess we could have used a flashlight for that whole deal.
Oh, even creepier, just hold it. Can we at least see the lake?
Lookabout Road. Oh, shit. Oh, I thought that whole space was going to be the lake.
Me too. I do see the water though.
Where?
If you look at, there's a reflection of the lights. It's on the other side of whatever this brush is. Do you want to try walking this way?
Okay, yeah.
I was going to say the other way.
Okay. There's dogs.
There's dogs here.
Careful, there's dogs.
The stars are great though.
Yeah, they are. The monster ripped a hole in this fence.
Oh, wow.
So for listeners, we are at Elizabeth Lake right now.
There's some of it.
Oh yeah, you can see it right there. Perfect. We're trying to find a good spot to do the actual podcast.
To have a bonfire because I'm freezing my ass
I'm
off.
fucking cold as hell right now. I thought we were in California.
I don't know what it is. Let me check. It is.
Oh look, there's the Big Dipper.
Oh. Are you sure?
Yeah, right? Isn't that what that is? Look.
Well, then what's that? Is that the Little Dipper?
I think that's nothing.
Everything kind of looks like a dipper to me right now.
That is the Big Dipper.
Okay.
See it?
I do. Where's Orion's belt?
Everything looks like Orion's belt to me all the time. Like, it could be those three.
That's either Venus or a satellite. I don't know.
Could be those three.
Oh, yeah. One of them's a plane, though. Just.
Yeah, I know. That one's moving.
Yeah, it's 43 degrees out.
Okay, I'm crying.
It says, so there's Elizabeth Lake and there's Lake Hughes.
No, this has got to be Elizabeth Lake. Because, first of all, this is what the pictures look like. And second of all, that was Elizabeth Lake Road right there.
I know.
So
I just tripped. People definitely think we're broken down.
The dogs are barking at us. Yeah, this is... So far, everything's going pretty typically.
Pretty smoothly.
Pretty typical
we might even,
for this show.
If we have to, jump back in the car and drive down this little, looks like kind of like, maybe there's a country club. Oh, you can see where a child was abducted.
Oh yeah.
This football
Holy
right here.
shit, look at this giant hole.
Do you think he lives in here?
Yeah. Oh, you want to go to a country club?
Well, I don't know what this is.
You're like, can we just go to a country club instead?
Oh, see, there we go.
Here we go.
I'm seeing some more water.
Oh, I thought this is... Here we go. Here's a trail.
Oh.
Oh, fuck. Be careful you don't fall.
Okay.
Look at how, like... It is a lake that's, like, on a fault line.
What? Oh, my God.
So, like, try not to do exactly that.
Well, it was flooded.
That's right.
That's what the sign said anyways.
Don't fall in.
Oh my God. If I see anything living, all you're gonna see is the back of my head running away.
Everything is...
I'm sinking in though. I think we can get
Well, no. I think we're good here. We don't have to be in the water.
I don't know. There's a nice little log we could sit on.
You want to go over there? We could do that.
I can't. Well, I think there's like beach. There's a little bit of a beach that we could.
I don't know about that whole. Why don't you go down there?
Yeah, let me check it out.
You let me know. Check out the scene.
This is definitely a place where someone would take you if they were like, "Hey, you want to see a dead body?"
Totally.
So you can hear all those bullfrogs.
Dude, I don't know about that like big jump right there though. Be so careful.
We're like really.
My insurance covers your life. Don't worry.
See, yeah, this is the little stream runoff that leads there. Well, here's the thing. I can't tell if it's just like more like bog swamp or if it's legit beach.
I think it's a swamp.
Oh, there's some cool stuff over here.
Yeah?
I think I need I need the more powerful flashlight, I think.
Careful, there's dogs.
Yeah, inside of houses.
Watch out for the...
Do you need some help? It's easier once you get over here.
Yeah, I got it. I can do it.
And I think it's too cold for ticks, so.
Too cold for what?
Oh, there's no ticks over here. I grew up in the Northeast,
I
so.
thought you said for tits.
Oh, well, it's also too cold for ticks. Right
I
now.
was like, yeah, that's not usually a part of...
Definitely want to
What
stay
did
covered
you
up.
think you were...
Yeah, what kind of podcast do you think this is?
Like, oh God, what's the fucking point then?
Never mind, take me home.
You know what? It might be too cold for tits. like you would actually turn it down because it's too...
I just fell in a hole.
Oh God, I thought you saw a snake or something. Okay, well, yeah, it's creepy.
So what do you think?
What
What do you think that is down there? Do you think that's beach or do you think? See how the color difference?
Oh shit.
Okay, well we're definitely not alone out here.
What was that?
I'm hoping not an animal bigger than us.
Oh shit. I told you about the dogs.
Dogs would bark. My greatest fear right now is getting arrested. Because whatever we're doing.
Oh, you're right. Is that a beach?
I can't tell. It might just be water. Oh, this is water right here.
Oh, yeah.
So we can't get down there either way.
No.
But this is for sure.
Do you want to sit on that log?
Yeah,
Whatever pictures you take, if you don't mind sending them to me.
I do mind.
You're like, for a price? Yeah, I could definitely... I need to have my insignia on the bottom of it.
Might be too cold for tits though.
You know what I'm thinking? And this sucks and I don't want to have to say it. But I think we're both reasonable adults. It might be too cold for tits.
No, I think it is, yeah.
I think it is.
All right.
I go to like get sat down. You're like, no, sweetheart, put those away. It's too cold for tits.
I don't want to be a party pooper, but...
Yeah. Let's go back. Okay.
Oh, my poor Air Forces are getting all fucked up.
I think we can probably sit like here.
Yeah.
I wonder what that creature was behind us.
I just hope it's afraid of us.
Yeah, it must be because it's not coming at us. This is not a ghost episode as much as it's a creature feature on Laughing in the Dark this evening.
Do you think that, what kind of moon do you think that is? I think it's a waning gibbous.
Oh shit. I was gonna say it's a half moon. I was like, oh, half looks like halvesies to me. Oh, probably a waxing. Why would you say it's waning?
Because waxing, I think it's when it's becoming full, and waning is when it's like going back down.
Oh.
But yeah, I probably just shot my credibility because I have no idea what kind of moon that is.
So we got a half moon. Looks like a waxing gibbous.
Waning. I think
Or
it's
sorry, a waning gibbous if we were to Actually, if Justin were to guess, I
Yeah,
don't know what the fuck
complete guess. Don't know what I'm
It's
talking about.
really pretty out here, though. We have the lake is right out in front of us, so there's a reflection of the lights from the houses around the lake on the lake.
But I do think we should point out that there are no homes this side of where we're at. I mean, there's some like
dogs.
across the street, but we're like in this weird marsh type. Yeah, thicket's a good word for it.
Yeah. And then we're sitting on like a big log, and there's all kinds of creepy like witch finger branches sticking out into the sky.
Yeah.
It's really pretty and creepy, and we keep hearing animals close to us.
They sound small though, whatever they are.
They sound like moderately sized. So, great. So tonight we are visiting Elizabeth Lake in Southern California. This lovely lake is situated in the Antelope Valley and is home to many birds and other animals.
Cool.
A perennial lake situated in the Angeles National Forest, this lake may dry up entirely during drought years. It can be found 17 miles west of Palmdale on Elizabeth Lake Road, about 30 miles north of Santa Clarita.
Perfect.
Great, we nailed it. So this is definitely the lake.
Yeah.
We did it. Legend has it that Elizabeth Lake was carved out and created by the devil, and that he placed one of his very own pets inside its depths as revenge for a man who supposedly sold his soul to the devil, then went back on their agreement.
Oh, I didn't know you could go back on that. I thought that was like a done deal.
I didn't know either. This guy is a bold motherfucker.
I'm glad you can go back on it because, I've, in desperation, yelled out a couple times.
Well...
And try to make some deals.
Well, you can, as long as you're cool with him, like, putting one of his pets in a lake.
Yeah.
What the
I don't
fuck
ever
is
have to come here
that?
again.
I keep hearing, like, rustling behind us.
Well, we are in nature.
If I get attacked, will you just make sure I die quickly?
I'm going to say this up front. If you're looking for anyone to, I'm definitely a think for yourself kind of dude. So if anything goes down, I'm running. So
Okay,
I hope you're right next to me. But if you're not,
nice knowing you.
yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for doing the podcast.
Yeah, if you don't mind just like kicking my head in if it comes to that, that would be nice.
If we hear anything louder, because we heard like a couple twigs break and stuff, anything louder than we've already heard, you're just going to see me growing smaller in the distance as I run away.
I just imagined you shrinking in your same spot, like, oh!
Oh, yeah. Well,
I was like, are you a leprechaun?
what kind of witchcraft is going on out here?
Okay, some believe that if you swim deep enough, you may find a direct passageway to the underworld.
I didn't know this is what I thought we were doing like ghosts and stuff. I didn't know we were.
So this one is a special creature feature episode.
Oh, great. Thanks.
You're welcome. I told you it was a special one.
Taking me to Devil's Lake or whatever.
Yeah. So the fact that the lake is situated directly over the San Andreas fault line could lead to the creation of such a myth that there's a passageway to the underworld under the lake.
Okay, I got it.
In fact, since the lake was created by the shifting of the tectonic plates, it makes sense that someone may have thought an otherworldly creature, possibly the devil, ripped the ground apart to create the lake. So you kind of can see where the mythology came from.
Right. But I'm more interested in the fact that there's one of Satan's demons in here.
Me too. Legends of this lake monster go all the way back to early settlers who once called Elizabeth Lake La Laguna de Diablo.
Oh, jeez.
Supposedly, it started to be called Elizabeth Lake only after a young girl slipped into the water. Unharmed, her friends dubbed the lake in her honor, and apparently the name stuck.
That's all you have to do is fall into a lake to get
I know,
named
I
after
said
you?
that can't be true, but I guess people must have thought it was better than La Laguna de Diablo.
They were like, do you hear Elizabeth lived when she fell in the Devil's Lake? And then they just changed the name of it.
She gets it. She gets
Also,
the lake.
they probably wouldn't have been able to sell any of this lovely real estate if it was so...
That's what I'm
complex.
thinking.
Yeah.
They probably just renamed it, and then maybe someone came up with some legend for it or something. Although that's a lame legend to come up with. Maybe it is true.
Some girl fell into the lake. Oh my God,
No,
what
she
happened
was
to her?
fine.
Nothing. She's good.
No,
She's a teacher now.
what do you mean?
In,
No, but she did fall into the lake.
She did. But now
Yeah,
she's fine.
Elizabeth,
Yeah.
she's okay. Yeah. In the late 1800s, it was used as a hideout for stolen cattle and horses by banditos.
Oh.
One of the earliest stories ever recorded from this lake dates as far back as the 1830s, when Don Pedro Carrillo abandoned his ranch situated on the lakeshore after it had been destroyed by a mysterious fire, which he blamed on La Laguna del Diablo.
Well, of course.
I mean, naturally. In 1855...
I'm really my back's to it and I keep looking because I don't...
Like, it's almost like you see the tree's branch sticking out of the water and then you imagine it's the creature.
Oh, well, I wasn't until you said that.
Welcome to Laughing in the Dark. This is what we do.
Okay.
Okay, great. Okay, so in 1855, American settlers came to the area and they too abandoned it due to what they described as disturbing and unnatural nocturnal noises and sightings.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, confirmed.
I can understand that.
Yeah, those happen out here for sure. Yeah. Later, a rancher named Don Francisco Chico Lopez came to... Oh, shit.
What was that?
It's right next to me, whatever it is.
I hope they're not, seeing the light and coming to investigate whatever it is.
Did you hear that? It was,
yes,
right
I'm
there.
fucking creeped out. Don't stop reading. I don't want to be out. How long do we have to be out here?
No, I heard, huffing. Okay, I'll keep reading. That was, really close, though.
Yeah.
And then I heard it go,
It scoffed at us? What a little bastard.
Well, don't piss it off, just in case.
He's like, I'm gonna see... just these guys?
Oh, how many followers do you even have? Oh, 600?
Oh.
Get the fuck out of here.
Lame ass.
Who cares? Okay, so Chico Lopez, he and range boss Chico Vasquez...
Chico and Chico?
Yeah, Don Francisco Chico Lopez is his full name. And then the other one's just Chico Vasquez. Okay. I'm not probably saying that correct. Vasquez? I'm white.
I think the first one was better than the second two you just said.
Okay. So Chico and Chico, and then a man named Don Francisco Guillermo Mentiroso.
Fuck.
What?
Did you hear that?
I heard that one, but closer to me on this side.
I think we're gonna have to.
Oh, shit. Do you want to relocate?
No, but we're gonna have to be comfortable with the possibility that there's multiple things out here. Because I just heard one over to my left.
You are in running position.
I told you. I already know. I already have an exit strategy.
I know, but if you run, there's two things.
I'll be back for you tomorrow.
No. One, I have to catch up with you because two, we have to sync our audio. So you can't be too far away from
Listen,
me.
I'm going to be screaming loud enough that it'll come through your mic, so don't even worry about it.
Great. All right, perfect.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll get through the story and then we'll get the fuck out of here.
Okay.
Shit, that was really, really close.
That's what I'm saying.
That was really, really close. That sounded like a footprint right next to us.
I would like it to actually come from this direction. I don't know why it keeps coming from behind us.
I know. It's like wherever I'm facing, it's coming from behind me. This might be the scariest location I've ever done.
I don't know why I suggested we walk all the way down here. We should have just stayed in the car.
Well, we can't stay in the car.
No one would have known.
Yeah, it's just like Ariana Grande's playing in the background. We're like, it's spooky out here.
It is haunted. This lake has 7 rings.
7 days. Okay. Blah, 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 blah.
Just paraphrasing now.
They all claimed to witness the lake monster, which they described as being larger than the greatest whale with enormous bat-like wings. They claimed it would rip through the water with what appeared to either be great flippers or legs. Lopez later abandoned the area too, claiming that his livestock would mysteriously vanish.
Great.
Then in 1886, still another rancher named Don Felipe Rivera came to own the property. He too abandoned it after claiming to witness a 45-foot beast with 6 legs and 2 leathery wings at the lake eating one of his steers.
Oh.
He passed the property down to rancher Miguel Leones, who also described what he called a griffin-like creature at the lake, and he too experienced issues with livestock vanishing. This pissed Miguel off, so he claims to have waited by the lakeside one night to see the creature, and when it finally did arrive, he claims to have attacked and injured it. He says bullets were deflected from its impossibly tough skin.
Great.
But some came up and injured the creature's eye.
Oh, all right.
He believed that this caused
So
the
now
creature...
it's pissed off.
Yeah. He believed that this caused the creature to flee the area. I said, was Miguel a total badass or a liar?
Right.
Some believe that the creature truly did leave the lake at this time and fled to Arizona, where a similarly described creature was found and apparently shot and killed in the early 1900s.
It's weird how nobody saw him during his travels. He's like 45 feet tall, and he made it to Arizona, and nobody was like, oh, there's a fucking
He's
dragon.
nocturnal.
Well, if he has wings, maybe he can fly, too.
When he does fly, yeah. Still others believe the creature never left, just fled into the lake, lying in wait to get its revenge. While many locals scoff at the legend, some claim to have witnessed it themselves.
You could have told me this before we came out here.
No, it's better when you hear it for the first time in the spot. Plus, then you might have said no.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have came here.
You mean like came all the way out towards the lake, or like came out to do the episode at all?
I don't know. I'm here now.
Okay, great. All right, so descriptions of the creature in Elizabeth Lake can be somewhat varied, but tend to be similar enough. I want to include some of the more detailed descriptions I have found.
Okay.
Many seem to be close to the legendary Thunderbird of Native American mythology. There are even famous photos of cowboys with a pterodactyl-looking creature dubbed a Thunderbird that they allegedly hunted down and killed.
Oh, awesome.
What was that?
I don't know. Sounded like a pterodactyl.
Oh my god, it totally did. This has sometimes been attributed to the Elizabeth Lake monster as well. I will include these pictures on the Instagram post accompanying this episode. So fans hold me to that.
How many pages do you have?
There's only one more page.
We're going to get eaten for sure.
I'm sorry.
I just wanted to do comedy.
I know we can get through the story and then we'll walk back to the car. And anytime you're so uncomfortable that you're like, let's seriously get the fuck out of here, just tell me and we'll go. It's no big deal. Okay?
Well, I can't bitch out if Kyle didn't. So.
But Kyle just went to a haunted park with me.
Yeah, he didn't have to deal with dragon monsters and shit.
No.
Okay. Oh, the howling dogs make me feel a lot better.
Yeah, are those coyotes?
Oh, wow. So there's actually, there's mystical and actual danger out here.
I mean...
I was so worried about the dragon, I didn't worry about the other things that could eat us.
That's a car.
That's a garage or something.
It was best when you thought it was a pterodactyl.
You know how I'm gonna freak out if someone just comes to check on us because of the flashlight to see if we're okay. Like if any shape starts walking towards us.
Some believe that the reports of the creature in Elizabeth Lake can be attributed to the native California condor.
Hold on, point it that way for a second. Okay. The problem now is I'm at full level freak out, so anything I hear is gonna bother me.
Okay, we'll get through the story, then we'll walk back to the car, okay? Okay. It can be sometimes attributed to the native California condor with a wingspan of 9.5 feet, though this does not seem as enormous as the descriptions of this mysterious creature. An archived 1886 news article from the Los Angeles Times described what they called the fiery dragon of Elizabeth Lake as a, quote, hideous thing with dinner plate scales, headlight eyes, and a harpoon tail, saying that next to this fearsome creature, quote, chimeras, gorgons, minotaurs, and other bugaboos of antiquity were harmless insects. In their eyewitness account, the creature was described as emanating a sickening odor and a roar that was peculiarly loud and sounded like distant thunder, followed by a sort of strange hissing noise.
Perfect.
When Mr. Simpson, the man who claimed to have witnessed this creature, turned to look toward the sound coming from the water, he saw only a black cloud over seething and boiling water beneath.
Jesus.
Mr. Simpson claims to have set out on foot with his Winchester rifle, where he eventually found the creature slumped over an antelope, another antelope laying dead and bleeding with large marks from the creature's horrid jaws torn into its side. He described the creature thusly. So this is all a quote. It was about 30 feet long overall and of a warm reddish color, with a long snout and jagged yellow teeth. It had enormous wings, rigged like those of a bat evidently, long hind legs and a long tail, with a seemingly hard, barbed point. From its head and neck fell a shaggy mane, and its huge eyes gleamed like two horrid fires. Mr. Simpson reportedly fired a shot at the creature, and in response, the creature rose into the air, carrying the injured antelope in its mouth, flying with its large, horrible wings over to the lake, where it sank with a terribly loud splash that Simpson estimated could have been audible for miles. In the morning, Simpson claims to have returned to the spot where he shot the horrible creature and even retrieved some scales, which either his bullet or the horns of the antelope had knocked from the sides of the monster. He claimed that the scales were round, semi-transparent, with a reddish glazed appearance and about the size of dinner plates. It's believed that the demonic creature comes out at night and feasts on local livestock and crops.
Which we are the only ones around at this time.
Right. Some describe a sulfurous smell when they see the creature or simply experience the smell as though the creature had left it behind. This is our last little bugaboo. Don't worry. Don't worry. Let me flip pages here. Hang tight. It seems common that the demon is described as having bat-like or leathery wings. A handful of reports also suggest that the creature had flippers or scales. One description I found depicted the beast as having bat wings, the neck of a giraffe, the head of a bulldog, 6 legs, and being about 50 feet long, giving off a terrible stench of rancid decay.
Great, so it's a shapeshifter too.
Some have even
We're probably
reported...
sitting on it right now.
Oh my God, what if this whole branch just started moving and we were on the tail of a beast? That'd be awesome.
I'd be out. I told you.
I'd be holding on to it like a Treyu in the Never-Ending Story. I'd be like, yeah!
Oh my goodness.
Some have even reported seeing the large shadow of the creature gliding over the top of the water. So is this a lake built by the devil? Does unspeakable evil lurk beneath the waters of Elizabeth Lake? Or is this just a local legend, passed on for generations? It's hard to say, but many still claim to have experienced things they cannot explain when they visit this mysterious lake.
Wow.
We're done. You ready to get the fuck out of here?
I believe it.
Yeah, this is a really creepy spot.
Definitely creepy.
I am really curious about what is moving all around us, actually.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that, like the sulfur and all that stuff, especially if it was, because it's on a fault line, you know?
Oh, does that break into, oh yeah, is there sulfur underground?
Well, I just like, escaping gas and all that stuff, like.
Yeah.
But, it was kind of the same thing with Loch Ness, where they believed that like maybe there were prehistoric creatures that were trapped, and then an earthquake kind of like lets them loose.
Uh-huh. Yeah, but like trapped for how long? Like, and they just survived down there?
I don't know, what those descriptions definitely sound like a demon, so.
Do we have to cross over this? Can't we just walk out this way?
I don't know. I wish people could see what it looks like though, because it's definitely creepier.
I know.
If you can.
I think that every episode. Oh yeah, we can come out this way.
Yeah?
Yeah. We did it.
Oh.
Okay, we survived.
Oh man.
We didn't get eaten. We didn't fall.
I really didn't think I was gonna be that creeped out.
That happens every episode. I love it.
Oh man.
I'm sorry, but I love it. My favorite episodes are the ones where the comics, especially the ones that say, oh, I don't believe in ghosts, but like I'll go.
Yeah, well, when you're out there in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
With creatures jumping around you.
Yeah, it's fun. And for me, like,
I wonder, did that guy keep the scales?
I know, right? I know.
Did he have them?
It said that he still has them in his possession when I looked at it. But first of all,
were all the pictures of it like drawings, or?
There were no pictures of it.
Well, There's a chupacabra barking at us right now.
Can you imagine how good it's gonna feel to get in the car and turn on the heat?
I just want to eat a burger and never come back here.
Well, I mean, we can do both of those things.
Yeah.
There's literally no reason. What if Kyle was like, I found an amazing deal on this house right on
next to Elizabeth Lake.
Look, it's kind of out of the way, but it's a really nice...
But our neighbor is a 40-foot tall dragon.
Like, dude, have you seen these scales? Dinner plates, dude.
That's freaky.
I would love to see the scales, but I doubt it. I'm sure it's bullshit.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if, like, it said it was a spot to keep stolen livestock.
Uh-huh.
So I wonder if people were killing each other's livestock and they were like, Chico, what the fuck happened to my cow? And he's just like,
Monster.
Oh, yeah, there was this dragon and he had a giraffe neck and a bulldog face.
Yeah. No, I wonder where it actually started, because it started before that. It started before the Banditos. Brr. I should have brought a heavier jacket with me.
I always thought hell would be hotter than this.
Right? Oh, it should be open. Is it not?
Don't leave me out here to die.
Oh God. What if I just left?
Let's get the fuck out of here.
I just heard you say, don't leave me out here to die.
I didn't smell any sulfur.
Oh God. I'm so cold. Wouldn't it be fucked up if while I was starting the car, like a huge hand of like a dragon?
I feel so much. I
car.
feel so much better about that than if it happened on the lake.
Oh really?
Because I was just imagining sitting there and just thinking, if we got into any trouble whatsoever, we're done.
We're fucked. Yeah.
Whether it's a coyote
Right.
or whatever.
Well, that's what I kept hearing. The weird thing, I wonder if it was bullfrogs, because the weird thing about what I was hearing is I heard footsteps.
Yeah.
Like there was someone walking behind us. And at first I was like, oh, like it's probably a small animal, like a skunk or like
Yeah, you try to rationalize it, but
Yeah.
it sounded like it was, I don't know.
And it was all around us
I
and
know.
like really close. So we're still mic'd up. We can talk when we get to where we're going.
But we can
I'm such a night
go back
person.
to the Americana and grab a beer, because, you know,
Let's do
people
that.
in Glendale like to party.
They seem like it. Yeah, they sure do. Do you mind if I plug my phone in?
Do it.
It's gonna die.
Yeah, I got plenty of juice. Not to confuse you.
It's like, what kind of juice do you want?
You were like, apple?
I was like, you're not an A-list celebrity. You can't get in my car and be like, what kind of juice you got?
You don't provide juice for you.
No. Like, and that's what you would want.
Yeah.
Sure, I could do that. What kind of juice you got equipped for?
That was in my rider. I was supposed to have juice waiting
Yeah.
for me.
Oh wait, did you put it in the GPS?
I didn't put anything in. Oh, I guess we should.
The Americana.
Yeah, I think we should drive home. I thought we were looking for food, so I didn't put anything in.
Oh yeah. You're like, let's just see where the road takes us, right?
Right into the.
I drive right
Devil's
into the lake,
beast.
and I'm like, I don't know what happened.
Do you actually want to turn down there where it told us to go the first time?
Sure.
Because I'm just interested to see.
Just see what's down there.
Yeah. So Ranch Club Road is coming up on the right. Oh, so this is the other side of the lake over here.
Yeah, so I guess, honestly, we were probably in the best place to do it. And I know
Well,
it was
that's it.
horrifying, but that's the point. Like, it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the spot we were in would have been terrifying even if you didn't read that story.
That's true.
Just being in like a marsh at night.
Yeah.
Because if we could see this beast flying over the lake.
Oh
that'd
my
be pretty
God,
cool.
wouldn't that be so cool?
Now that I'm in the car, I would love to see it.
Yeah,
I didn't want to see it when we were out there, though.
that'd be really awesome. One time I did see a flying crazy creature that I have only told a couple people about this because it just sounds like made up. But I was back home. I was in Metro Detroit and I was driving. I think I was like driving back to my mom's house. Like it was just a totally normal day. And it was like 5:30 p.m. Like it was like dusk. And I saw this like big winged creature fly over my car, and it went really fast, so it was like I couldn't tell what it was, but it was like definitely bigger than a vulture. Like it was a huge, and it wasn't a vulture, it wasn't like a condor, even though those don't happen in Michigan.
Right.
But like it was the weirdest thing, and I just had that feeling of like, what the hell is that? My first thought was like, oh my god, it's Mothman. It's the Mothman for sure. But it seemed like a little too small to be the Mothman.
What was that movie? You seen Mimic?
No.
You've never seen Mimic?
No.
Oh.
But it sounds really good.
All right, we're gonna take our next left.
What's Mimic?
Mimic is kind of like the same. Is it this left? Yeah.
Right here. Why does that sound familiar? Who's in that?
It was a while ago, but it has like one of the best. You know that scream of death that is in a lot of horror movies where like, I don't know who the original person was to do it, but it's just every kill has that giant scream, but it's basically, it's this creature.
Oh, like the woman scream?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that?
It's this creature that kind of like a lot of insects do, they mimic their prey, so they start to look like whatever they're trying to eat, and this giant like weird creature would look like, make itself look like a human, and you'd get close and then it would fuck you up. Take this right.
Weird. That sounds really good.
Yeah. So
is it like well done, the movie?
I mean, for like the 90s.
Yeah.
But
oh my god, that guy scared me.
Oh shit, I didn't even see him. So it's actually, there's two bodies of water out here.
Yeah.
And the whole thing's called Elizabeth Lake, but we were sitting next to one, and now I'm taking us to the other one.
I think I can't keep driving.
No, you should be able to. Yeah, it says take a right.
Okay.
Oh, now we're going down a
See?
dirt road.
Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah. It's creepy as hell.
Okay.
Oh, this is kind of paved.
Yeah.
A little bit.
This is better than I thought too, actually. But I'm having a hard time trying to
we're not going to be able to drive down here. We're going to need a tractor for that. Oh, but see, you can see this is where I was trying to get us.
Oh, right up next to the lake?
Yeah. And this actually looks like a little bridge that drives over it. That's what I was trying to do, but...
Okay, yeah. I mean, we tried. I paid for the,
Extra insurance?
Extra insurance.
In case you get caught in a ditch out here?
Yeah, I paid for the ditch insurance. No, I paid for the insurance that covers the body of the car.
Oh, nice.
So if something happens to the actual car. Because I have like AAA for anything else, but...
Waze just asked me if we wanted to park here. Hell no.
If we wanted to what?
To park. It was like, oh, do you want to mark this spot? It's like, no way I would get out of the car here.
Like, yeah, if we're gonna... If we were to come this way first, which I think was originally the plan, we probably would have gone out there.
And just walked?
And just walked towards we probably would have. But I actually think at that spot would have been less scary than where we were.
Yeah,
because that was so wide open. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just left, I think.
But yeah, where we were was definitely... I mean, usually too, when you hear like a step, you can see what left there. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, that's what was so weird about it. It's like if the sound didn't match whatever it was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like for something to break a branch or be that big and then shine the light on it and not be able to see anything, that's what was freaking me out.
Me too. And I honestly thought it was a dog at first, but then it was like, well, it wouldn't have stayed this quiet after it made sounds. So then I thought it was like a coyote. And that's what kind of freaked me out, because I was like, maybe it's stalking us. Like, maybe it's stopping.
Oh, and then like hiding in the brush?
Yeah, something like that. But then I heard the sound of like a step like right behind me, where I was like, that could have been the jump of a bullfrog, but then it would still be sitting there. And it didn't sound like the step of like coyotes coming up behind you. You know what I mean? It was really weird.
I guess there was just like a lot of life out there, whether
Yeah.
it was mice or bullfrogs or whatever.
Ghosts.
I mean, as soon as we parked pretty far away from where we walked to,
Yeah.
I mean, in just that we probably could have just pulled the car right over, and we decided to park and walk instead. But as soon as we
Right.
got out of the car, it's everything around the lake is so loud.
Right.
You know, because I'm used to being in LA where you don't hear any animals or anything. So
Yeah. Oh shit! Sorry.
I don't care. We got that insurance.
Right.
Drive this thing right
Just
into the
pop
lake
these
if we want
hubcaps
to.
off. Like, fuck these hubcaps. For listeners, I ran over a pothole yesterday, and I lost my hubcap. But I rented this car, so I went back, found where the hubcap was, and parked my car in a left turn lane and put my emergency lights on, and went out and just grabbed the hubcap and jumped back in my car like a wild animal.
And we're gonna snap it back on later.
And yeah, Justin's gonna be a hero and snap it back on for me later.
I've gotten to a couple car accidents, so I know how to
Good.
do that.
Perfect.
And then we take this right, and I think we're on our way out of
Dodge.
El Laguna de Diablo.
La Laguna de Diablo. Del Diablo.
How long were we out there for? Because it probably wasn't that long, but it seemed like forever.
50. Not that long at all.
Because we're only at 50 now.
Yeah. It did seem like we were out there for a really long time.
Well, we can use the cold as an excuse, but I was actually very afraid. So.
I was starting to get really worried about the coyotes, and I also didn't want you to book it.
And just leave you there
And
in the
then,
dust?
well, this is so, I'm so like driven by my, Roger. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. I'm so
Man,
driven by this
Rainer.
show that I
You
really
would die
didn't want to. I'd die for a lot less.
Yeah?
But like,
Okay.
I don't want to deal with like us having different audio being in different places. So I had this one app, but what the fuck is that guy doing, do you think?
I don't know. Nothing out here is good, though.
No, it just is a shady, it's like a rural, shady, like it almost seems like all the townspeople, like that guy getting in his truck, like knew that we were not from around these parts.
Well, that was one of the things I was just like, is everybody in on it? Are they going to feed us to
Right?
the demon?
Right? They're like, we got another one.
Like Children of the Corn type thing?
Right. Oh, I did have one episode where me and the comic got separated, and the comic was like saying stuff during the episode, or during like the time we were separated, and then I ended up like meeting someone and talking to them during that part,
So
and
it was
we
all
couldn't.
overlapping?
Yeah, it was like none of it was usable, which sucked because some of it was like really funny.
How'd you get separated?
She ran.
Oh, see?
See, yeah.
I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
I was going to bring my weed pen, too, and I'm so glad I didn't, because if I was stoned,
Oh my god.
I would have been so much more scared. Oh, man.
I mean, it might have
And it was
actually
weird,
made for.
Because it was sort of like, it was really like beautiful, too,
Oh yeah.
but just super creepy.
Yeah.
And almost everything was dead. You know what I mean? Like all the dead trees that were like
Yeah.
falling over and stuff like that. So, but I mean, the sky was beautiful and the sound of the bullfrogs and stuff. But it wasn't until we were out there that I realized, like, there's that little bit of you get freaked out when you hear like ghost stories, or you hear anything like mythical or whatever. There's a part of your brain that's just like, oh, what if it's real?
Mm-hmm.
But then I was actually getting freaked out thinking about all of the stuff that could actually kill us. Like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what I mean? Because there was like, it wasn't in like we were in a place that we weren't supposed to be recording. Like nobody would know that we're out there.
No.
So if anything happened to us, we would have just.
Right. But
They would have been calling it Sarah Lake. They'd be like,
they were like, this chick fell
this
in.
chick fell in, and no one ever found her. So forget
Well,
it,
no,
wasn't
then
it?
you don't get a name. You only get a name if nothing of consequence really happens.
If you go,
besides-
oh shit, I'm all wet.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it happened again.
Somebody fell in and got back out.
They're like,
So I wonder,
what's your name, young lady?
does anyone swim in it? Because there were a lot of houses around, but I didn't see any like boats or anything.
Yeah, people do swim in it. So like, I saw comments from locals that were all like, whatever, nerds, like, I've been swimming in it since I was a kid, and like, there's nothing in there, or whatever.
Yeah, because he's in Arizona now.
Well, and if you believe that line of reasoning, then he's dead. There's actually photos, and like I said, I'm going to include them in the Instagram. I'll show you when we get to wherever we're going.
Yeah.
There's photos of like black and white photos from when they had to like stand there for forever and like press the button and then wait
like actually
for half an hour.
Powder and,
right.
Yeah.
And they're like holding this, basically a pterodactyl. I think it's probably a hoax, because like they had a lot of hoaxes like that at the time, you know?
Yeah.
But one of them was like actually kind of a cool picture that you're like, oh, it looks kind of real. But
isn't one of the best ways to keep people from, like, especially back then, if you didn't want people to compete over the land, you
make
could
a legend.
Yeah, you could just be like, oh well, you know, this is hellfire, so.
Yeah, but what's weird about that is that there's like documented stories of people getting a ranch and buying the land and then
like
deserting
doing like
it.
a fire sale and
Completely deserting it and passing it on to somebody else, because they like fled it, and all of them blamed it on the creature from the lake.
Creature, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And or like the fire. The fire was like blamed on the creature as well. Or the livestock randomly disappearing.
Well, that's like
my God, can you imagine if we would have seen
stories?
Yeah.
You always hear about livestock and stuff.
That they eat.
I really want it to be true, because
the chupacabra?
Well, like this story about Elizabeth Lake, only because that would be amazing if that, you know, back when it wasn't heavily populated and you're just alone here in a rancher and you see like a giant lizard monster and then you kill it and then nobody believes you. That must be like the most frustrating thing if it actually happens.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
No, that'd be really annoying. In fact, like, there's stories that I have that people don't believe. Like, I've seen a ghost, and even that crazy winged creature that I saw flying over my car that one time. The thing that's so funny about true things is like the story of that creature that flew over my car. It was like in the middle of a well-lit suburb on like a Wednesday evening. Like it wasn't, I was like driving back home past my old high school. Like nothing was interesting about the story besides like I saw this weird thing, you know? And I think it's like, even for me, even for someone who has a podcast like this, telling that story, it doesn't feel like it has enough detail to it to make it like interesting.
And then like, especially like recounting it, because things like that usually happen so fast.
Yeah.
You start to rationalize it and you go, oh, well maybe because the angle I was at, and you want to find like a scientific explanation for everything that's going on.
Well, yeah.
My dad had a couple ghost stories, and they were just, I don't know, he was just kind of like a no-nonsense guy, and like he would always try to explain things rationally, and even when like we were camping and stuff, if I heard something, he would be like, so like just, he had like one particular story that was just so freaky, and like he like believed it wholeheartedly, you know, and he was never like that, like, you know, you would never catch him making stuff up or so it was really weird. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
So he was working, he used to refinish basements where they would try to update, because in New England they had a lot of that, like, you know, regular just stone. He was basically waterproofing them. So like a lot of two families and stuff in Medford, where my dad grew up and where he eventually ended up working, were just like stone foundations that would leak and like have water in it. So when they were updating things, they would go down, they would smash out all the cement and then pour brand new cement. And while he was breaking through one of the basements, he kept finding glass bottles, and they were like really old, different color. They looked like old school wine bottles and stuff. And it was mostly like an Italian neighborhood. So he was working there, and he would hear like kids laughing and playing upstairs and stuff. And he just thought that they were interesting, so he kept putting the bottles aside and trying not to break them, and he's kind of like carefully chipping away at this foundation. and then down this little, like, really narrow makeshift stair that the original owner had built, this little girl in, like, a yellow Sunday dress would, like, run down enough that he would see probably, like, her legs and the lower half of her torso and laugh and then run back up. And, like, you know, he thought he was, like, playing a game with her where he would, like, hear her and, like, kind of, like, peek over the stairs and she'd run back up. So he gets done and he goes to the person buying the house now, who was paying him to refinish the basement. You know, I found all of these old bottles and stuff like that. And then before he left for the day, he said that he wanted to say goodbye to the person's daughter. And the guy was like, "What are you talking about?" And then he was like, "Oh, well, there was, like, a little, like, girl running up and down the stairs." And he's like, "Well, I don't have any kids or whatever, but, you know, maybe if you left the door open, like, one of the neighborhood kids got in." So he was like, okay, didn't think anything of it. And then, so the owner did a little bit of research because of, like, the old glass bottles, and went through the attic and stuff and found some pictures trying to figure out who lived there before. And, I just get freaked out talking about it. But, so there was a Italian family that lived there, and they had made their own wine in wine barrels and kept them in the basement, and that's where, like, a lot of the glass that was in the dirt floor, they just kind of had paved over with the cement. And my dad said he felt sick to his stomach when he looked at the picture because the little girl in it he recognized the dress from seeing that in the same shoes and everything. And, like, forever I was like, dude, you're full of shit. But, like, he just was so adamant about that happening, and I was like, oh my god, that's so.
What's
so
interesting is that he didn't just recognize the girl, he recognized the outfit she was wearing in that photograph.
Well, because that's mostly what he saw. He said he never really saw her face. Like, she would run down the stairs enough from his angle that he could see, like, the shoes and her little, like, and he described it as, like, a Sunday school outfit, because I remember even, like, when my mom was young, so my mom's family was Italian, they all had the same little black leather shoe with a white frilly sock, and that's
I had that outfit too.
That's
your, like, first communion outfit.
Yeah, exactly. And he said, like, the little dress, yellow dress with a bow around it, and it was in the photo. And,
but how interesting that if this is the way the spirit was showing up, that it just happens to be in that same outfit that is in the photograph. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's weird. Like, he never found out if, like, she died when she was a kid, or
maybe she was buried in that dress.
Yeah, she could have been buried in, like, or I don't know, like, I mean, it's kind of gross to think about now, but, like very early on in that area in New England, especially, like, the suburbs of Boston, so, like, Cambridge, Medford, Somerville, back before it got heavily developed and they were doing, like, you know, high-rise buildings and stuff. But, you know, people would just bury their loved ones on the farm. Yeah. You know, you just bury them in your backyard and put a little gravestone. And when the property got sold, they might take down the headstones, but they weren't digging up every body that was on the property. But yeah.
That's awesome. Did he have a couple, or was it just that one?
That was the only one that, you know, and, like, I have things where, like, you know, you might be out in the woods and thought you saw something or whatever. So he had more stories like that where he thought he saw something floating. But this was the only thing that was, like, really kind of scared him when he would talk about it. But he would always say, too, that, like, he didn't, there was nothing malicious. You know what I mean? Like, it was, like, a very, like, when he was seeing whatever, you know, he thought he was seeing a little girl, he never felt, like, threatened or weirded out or anything like that.
Well, you have that, it's like you have the same thing with ghosts as you do with people, where you're like,
you get a good vibe.
You get a good vibe, or there are just some people that for some reason you're just instantly like, this seems like, something about this seems not right, you know?
Yeah. I get sleep paralysis,
Oh God.
which is probably the scariest thing I've ever encountered.
Yeah.
Because whatever, like a lot of times, whatever you're dreaming about will follow you when you wake up. So if you're having a nightmare and you wake up and your body's paralyzed, you're still seeing whatever was in your nightmare, and it seems like it's in your room. And like the harder I would like struggle to move and get out of it, the harder it was for me to like actually, especially like because
Is it like quicksand? Like you have to not try as hard?
Yeah, you kind of like the more like I try to relax, but there's sometimes I was like so afraid coming out of like a nightmare or something like that. I'm like literally trying to scream, and I can hear, like I could hear my girlfriend at the time like getting up and moving around the room, and she's, you know what I mean, she's starting her day, and I'm like trying to scream and like let her know that I'm stuck in whatever this is, and then all of a sudden I'm like and I come out of it.
Yeah. I had an ex that would get that too.
Oh, it's the worst.
Yeah.
But it was always when my schedule was like sometimes I would exhaust myself to the point where like my head's nodding, and like it would happen a lot then because my mind was kind of up and awake and thinking about stuff when my body wanted to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Are you gonna pass out while we're driving?
No, I'm fine. I'm just, I don't know why I'm so tired.
It was probably that story that I told. Probably just bored you to
just
death.
Like, wow, I've never been so bored. Do you talk for a living? Good Lord.
Thank God I don't tell ghost stories on stage.
No, it was a great story. Don't take it that way. Okay. I'm just tired. And actually, the funny thing is,
well, we're blasting the heat in here. That might have something to do with it.
Well, no, I need. Is it bothering you?
No.
Okay, good. I need it because I'm like
definitely
thawing out. Yeah, that can. Also, what's kind of interesting is last night I did the Queen Mary, and one of the things that I read about someone who went there was like, oh, it drained me of my energy. Like I went back home and I slept for like 2 hours and I was just drained.
Oh, maybe because I always have trouble sleeping, so maybe I just have to scare the shit out of myself every night.
Well, like I never thought about it, but just as something to consider is that, or I mean, maybe it's the fact that I've been working really hard. Like I'm just exhausted. But like last night,
I wasn't really tired until we got back to the car.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't really either. You know? So it's something to consider. Like,
Do you think there's some kind of scientific explanation where, like, you have some kind of mix of adrenaline and, like, cortisol, or, you know what I mean? Like that fight or flight kind of thing where, like... fight or pass out. Well, like if you have like a
like narcolepsy, but it's kind of like, what's that creature?
The fainting goats.
Oh my God, that's a way better example than what I was thinking of. But that would.
They get scared and then pass out.
Wouldn't it be so funny if that was my fear reaction? If I heard something behind us,
I would be gone, and you would just be paralyzed.
Paralyzed.
But I kind of get the same thing where if I like ride a roller coaster, or if I do some kind of thing where I get an adrenaline rush, once I'm done for the day or I leave the amusement park, I'm usually really exhausted.
Yeah.
And you don't really exert a lot of energy waiting in line and going on rides, but I think it just maybe takes a lot out of you.
Well, that's also like a lot of stimulation. There's a lot of people around you, and to me that's like exhausting. But or maybe what it is I get done recording an episode, and then I'm like, okay, my work is done tonight.
You feel a relief that
there's that, and you're just, okay, I'm done. But the weird thing is that the last few days...
Asian number one, that's the best name for a restaurant.
Number one.
Asian pound side one, or hashtag for millennials.
Asian pound side one.
It's too chilly for titties tonight.
Way too, you're right. It's way too cold. You're like,
I don't want to inhibit you, but I think it's too cold for...
You're like, knock that shit off. It's way too cold for tits tonight.
I don't even remember what I was originally trying to say.
You were saying it's too cold for ticks?
Ticks.
Maybe?
Yes, that is what I was saying.
I thought you were like, you know what it is? It's too cold for tits.
I mean, it is a solid observation.
It is. Yeah, I mean...
I If that's not the name of this episode, I'm
You're like,
really upset.
please. It's honestly, it's too cold. I'm sorry. Please put those away. Yeah, like, I hope you guys had fun visiting Elizabeth Lake with Justin and I. Be sure to check Justin out on Instagram. Find him at @TheJustinHoff. While you're at it, visit our Instagram too at LitDarkPodcast, or check out our website at litdarkpodcast.com to find updates, take a look at our merch, or just contact us and say hello. Special thanks for this episode goes to my producer, Randall Lawrence in Cranival Studios, Jonathan Cooper, my graphic designer, Sarah Schneider, my manager, and of course, all of you for listening.
Sources for episode 5 of Laughing in the Dark include the Phantoms and Monsters blog, the LA Daily News, hauntedplaces.org, the Los Angeles Almanac, the Los Angeles Times, Wikipedia, and Final History from Creation to the Present and Beyond, a book by Raymond E. Shar.
Laughing in the Dark is brought to you in part by Heck Yeah Studio. Heck Yeah Studio is a creative effort working with people to create meaningful things. At Heck Yeah Studio, they work with clients to turn their ideas or existing brands into real or better versions. Heck Yeah Studio is the place to go for custom illustration for a full range of branding services, like killer logos, great colors and typography, and fun illustrations for pins, signs, prints, shirts, vehicles, posters, or anything you can imagine. At Heck Yeah Studio, they work with love. Their dream client is someone who is passionate about what they do. At Laughing in the Dark, Heck Yeah Studio has designed our logo, all of our merch, and any posters or stickers that we have. I am so proud and lucky to work with such an awesome company, and I could not recommend them higher.